What's up, guys? It's Sunday afternoon, and I got to make another video today because the Seattle Seahawks got down to their 53-man roster. They made a couple of player exchanges. They made a lot of cuts. So let's go through it. Let's figure out what we got here, and let's figure out what kind of team we're going to have for 2018. All right, so let's go through the cuts first. I'll just go through the ones that I think are at least mildly notable. Linebacker DJ Alexander. We traded for this guy a few years ago. We traded Kevin Pierre-Louis for this DJ guy who was supposed to be like a special teams guru. It might have even just been last year. I can't remember exactly, but that's kind of a surprise to me because he was supposed to be an elite special team player. So, if the special teams has been better this preseason compared to last year, I think. So, I'm not saying it's a bad cut. I think it's a little bit of a surprise that we don't think he can play a role on this team at all. Tackle Isaiah Battle, that was kind of obvious after he was getting his ass kicked in the preseason game against the Raiders. He took a touchdown off the board and he killed a scoring drive early in that game. The bar is really low for a tackle in Seattle right now because Fetty is so bad, but Battle is bad, so whatever. Tight end Kyle Carter, I'm pretty obvious, but he was the one who caught the touchdown in the Raiders game. Amara Darboh did not make the 53-man, so there's another draft pick gone to waste. There's another guy who we were thinking might be a part of the team going forward off the team, so there's another strike against the front office because that was a guy we thought was going to be something for us at some point, and now he leaves Seattle having done nothing. Let's see here. Cyril Grayson, he made a couple plays in the preseason. He also had some drops. It was a crowded wide receiver chart, so it's not really surprising. Akeem King, very disappointing that he couldn't make the 53-man because I thought he played pretty well in the preseason. I thought he showed some stuff. Obviously not great, but I thought he was going to be good enough to at least make the roster. Hopefully he gets down to the practice squad because I was pretty impressed. I kind of liked what I saw. Alex Magoo left on cuts, obviously. After we got Brent Hundley, this was obviously what was going to happen. Linebacker Jacob Pugh, little surprised here, but again, it's crowded, especially with guys like Mingo and Eric Walden on the team. There just wasn't a lot of room for a linebacker like Pugh. Keenan Reynolds, who made a couple plays in the preseason, not a lot of room for him because wide receiver was a little crowded. Jordan Roos, guard, obviously he played pretty damn bad in the preseason, so not a surprise. But there's another offensive line that bites the dust. Tyrone Swoops, always going to root for that guy to one day make this roster, but not really in the cards. Stringfellow had a big touchdown catch against the Raiders, the 80-yard touchdown, but again, no room for him on the roster. Malik Turner, wide receiver, same deal. Mike Tyson, cornerback, kind of a bummer, given that he was a draft pick a few years ago, but I mean he hadn't done very much to assert himself on this roster. Injured reserve list. We did put a couple players on injured reserve. Austin Davis, out of nowhere, after he plays the only good game he played in the preseason, he's on injured reserve. So he gets to make a little money this year. Good for him. Jamarco Jones, this sucks so bad. We were hoping he was only going to miss like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but he's out for the rest of the season, which that was the guy who maybe could have taken over Fetty's spot. He had a chance. Not going to happen this year. Probably not next year now. So, pretty bummed out about that. Cornerback Byron Maxwell. I'm not surprised at all. I don't really want I don't really want games to be coming down to whether or not Byron Maxwell can hold up in coverage because the margins are so thin with that guy. So, I'm kind of happy that he gets to get paid for the rest of this year. I don't even know what the injury is, but yeah, kind of a surprise, but I think it makes sense. I don't really want him on the active roster. He just doesn't have the skills anymore, I don't think. Eric Walden, injured reserve out for the season, out of nowhere as well. I mean, we signed him a couple weeks ago, so it's not like I missed the guy or anything, but he made a couple plays in the Vikings game, so I figured he'd stick around a little bit. But yeah, he's out for the season with something, who knows. Ed Dixon is on the non-football injury list, on the reserve list, so we plan on him coming back eventually, but not right now, so not great because he was going to be our starting tight end. But not surprising. We haven't seen him all preseason. We traded Marcus Johnson, which that was the guy we acquired in the Michael Bennett trade. So for us to have already given up on him, that's pretty bad. We acquired Daryl Daniels, a tight end from Indianapolis, for Marcus Johnson. I don't know anything about him. I'm not going to pretend to. We also acquired a safety, Shalom Luani, from I think the Raiders. Further sign that we're just trying to shore things up in our secondary because Earl's not going to come back, or we think that there's a very good chance he's not going to come back. Let's see, what else was there? So this means that, of course, Brandon Marshall made the team, that David Moore made the team, and we probably expect him to contribute. Let's see here. Maurice Alexander, the safety, not making the team is really odd for me, given that Earl has not yet reported. Basically, not too many huge surprises in these cuts. There are definitely some disappointing things in here. They highlight the fact that our drafts lately have been a little lackluster. But the 53-man roster kind of is what you would expect. I don't have anything earth-shattering to say about the decisions that we made. I think it's a little sad that we cut so many of these safeties when we don't have Earl Thomas right now. It says that these guys really couldn't get it done. And by the way, one of the guys who made the team, Delano Hill, is terrible. I thought Delano Hill was going to get cut because he never made a good play this whole preseason. He was out of position all the time. And he made this team over a bunch of guys who, got cut. That's kind of sad, and that speaks to how bad our defensive backfield really could be this season. So, I don't know, but disappointed in some of those guys for not coming out of nowhere and stepping up at least enough to make the active roster. I am looking for the Seahawks to maybe bring back Maurice Alexander at some point because he has a little bit of experience. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, not much to say about this one. Oh, okay. There's this one guy I highlighted up here because he was a big deal. Almost forgot to mention him. We waived a Reese Odiombo. Another big strike against this front office. This was a draft pick, and our offensive line, for all the problems that it has, you got to be bad to get cut from the Seahawks offensive line. And I know it's improved this preseason, but the depth is still not there. So, phooey on this front office for that pick. Holy shit. So, that's bad. And we got our 53-man roster, guys. Kind of the team that we all expected to have for probably the last couple weeks. I don't really mind anything that's happened here. We've exposed further problems with this front office evaluating talent in recent years, but team we have should be good enough to win some games this year. And all I'll say is this: the season is now like 4 days away from starting for the Eagles and whoever they play week 1. I can't remember if it's the Falcons or the Cowboys or the Vikings. Somebody out there, give us a real offer for Earl Thomas. I am ready to trade that guy. I am so ready to be done with Earl. Stop with these bullshit offers. You're basically offering us the same shit we're going to get in, compensation picks. We are not your fucking farm team. Come at us with a real offer. I want to be done with the Earl Thomas thing. I want him out of here. Stop wasting my time with these offers that we're never going to accept. All right. I'm going to make at least a couple more Seahawks videos before the season actually starts, but that's the 53-man. Nothing earth-shattering, but there you go. That's our team. Our team is our team.